They say 16,000 people were there to witness it. They wore all kinds of different Travis Bazzana gear from all over the world. And they came to witness what we've been watching the last couple of days. Guardians offense that can't do anything right now and no end in sight. How does that change? What are the expectations for Travis Bazzana? We'll cover all that on today's Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Started off as an exciting day, and now we're here sounding defeated again because the Guardians offense unable to come through when it matters. Let's talk about it here on Locked On Guardians, your only daily Cleveland Guardians podcast. It covers your team every day from the majors, the minors, the draft, and everything in between. I am one of your two co-hosts. My name is Justin Lada, and that is Jeff Ellis. Jeff's been hosting this podcast for 8 years. I joined as a co-host 4 years ago, and we both started covering the minor leagues, the draft, and whatnot 19 years ago in 2007. And very excited for this Travis Bazzana debut. I will say the crowd could have been, I don't know if 16,000 was the true audience, the true crowd that was there, but there was a little bit of buzz. I mean, I wore my Australia Travis Bazzana jersey. I saw that people wear some of that. I saw some Team Australia hats. I saw some Oregon State Travis Bazzana gear. I even saw some Falmouth Commodores Travis Bazzana gear, some Cape Cod League stuff. So people had Travis Bazzana gear on from all the way to Cape Cod to Australia to Oregon State. So like we had the kind of the whole broad covered there, and people were definitely excited. I got a lot, people were coming to me saying, I love my jersey, and there's a lot of buzz. He got the loudest pop of anybody, more than Jose, more than Chase DeLauder, and got a standing O in his first plate appearance. That was fun, and had a chance to be fun at the end, but the Rays were too smart. Made some interesting decisions at the end that paid off because clearly nobody respects the Guardians offense. And honestly, I can't blame Kevin Cash for that. Again, watching Travis was a lot of fun. It was great to see the reaction of the crowd to him. And I love that he used Men at Work as his walk-up song.
Land Down Under.
Yes. I wonder if that was his choice. The Guardians just did it, or he just said, yeah, just do it to lean into it. That's from the 80s, right? That song's from the 80s?
Yes, that's the 80s. Yeah. It's
yeah.
I mean, they had a few different hits, but that's probably their most famous one.
I don't know any of their songs. But yeah, we'll talk about Travis Bazzana's debut. We'll talk about the offense sputtering again. We'll talk a little bit about Tanner Bibee start and the walks that everybody had against Taylor Walls. We'll get into that frustration later. And
we'll debate Marmite. I'm kidding. We're not going to.
Marmite. I've never had Vegemite. Marmite. Isn't it Vegemite? What's Marmite?
There's both. There's two different things. I believe Vegemite is with vegetables and Marmite might be with meat, but I'm talking out my backside with that one.
The only thing I know about Vegemite is from the song, so that's my only experience there. So I really wonder, because I heard some people doing like the Aussie, oi, 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 and I'm like, my wife was like, do you think that Australians like that, or does that annoy them? That's like stereotypical. I don't know. We used to have an Australian listener. I wonder, I think it was Pete A from Australia used to be a listener of the show. I don't know. I haven't heard from him in a while, but Pete or anybody from Australia, if you're listening, let us know if people in Australia like that or not. Anyway, it started off fun. It was a well-played game. It was a close game. Both teams only had one hit through the fourth or fifth inning, I think. Chandler Simpson had a leadoff double. They erased that. Chase DeLauder had a single with one out in the first inning. And then it seemed like outside of walks for Tampa Bay, there were no base runners for quite a while.
Simpson got to third with one out. It was actually really impressive to see Tanner work through that and work out of that, because that was easily a situation where that run probably should have scored for Tampa. But
you could thank Junior Caminero probably fouling the ball off his face for that, to be honest. Because Junior Caminero came out of the box. It took a while for him to shake the cobwebs off, and then they let him finish the at-bat, and he hit a ball 5 miles an hour back to Tanner, and after that, he was able to get out of that. But wonder what would have happened if Junior Caminero hadn't hit a ball off his face, which looked pretty painful, but it sounds like he'll be okay, and he'll play on Wednesday. And he was replaced at third base, Jeff, by Richie Palacios, which is hilarious. And then later in the game, Kevin Kelly pitched and was replaced by Cole Sulser. So got the whole Cleveland South experience in this loss.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought you're right. Yeah, Tanner did a good job there. Look, I didn't plan on talking about the pitching early in the game because I want to talk about Bazzana and how fun it was for him to have some good at bats. I thought in this game, he struck out. What was it, 3-2? I think he struck out in a 3-2 pitch in the first inning.
Sounds right.
The fly out in the second inning, and then he worked a walk. He was down 0-2.
What I like there is he didn't force it. Like so many young players we've seen in that situation, like, oh, we need a hit. I got to do, it's like he took what was given to him and he worked the count. And, that's what we talked about with him being kind of a more professional hitter. It's like, that was nice to see a guy who's not going to press.
Yeah, it was a 2-2 strikeout in the first inning. Didn't swing at any. He did swing at one pitch out of the zone in that at bat, a changeup from Nick Martinez, who just absolutely destroyed the Guardians. We'll talk about their offense. Then, he had the fly out on a 4-pitch at bat, and then after that, he had the 2 walks. Cole Sulcer intentionally walked him at 2-0, which honestly, don't blame them.
No, then, there's nothing behind him. Why would you take the risk?
Yeah, it was a 6-pitch walk. He was down. It was up 2-0. Then it was 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, and then he took a called ball 4. His at bats were good. I thought, like the strikeout, that kind of stunk, but I thought his at bat quality was good, and he didn't try to overextend. We knew he wouldn't do that. We knew he wouldn't press things. That might be a little bit of the passivity overall in his profile, but honestly, I have nothing negative to say about that. I mean, his defense. He got a lot of chances defensively. Every ball he got hit, he did something good with. So I mean, there's really
got
nothing.
Eaten up on the one, but it probably didn't matter anyways.
It was it would have been. I don't think they would have turned the double play anyway, but he did have a hard time kind of like collecting that one.
Yeah, that was about the biggest negative you could say defensively. That's the only reason I bring it up is because that was
Other than that, he was good, and he was the first runner in this game to reach third base for Cleveland, and it wasn't until the 8th inning. Until the 8th inning. He had the
it was the first walk of the game. Like they hadn't. It was
the first walk of the game. First batter to reach third. Yeah, that's how
they weren't working counts at all. I mean, we'll talk about that in segment 2. But their approach was. Yeah. They had an approach. Unfortunately, it was the wrong approach, and I think that really also hurt them as well in this. But he had the first walk, first guy to get to third. Probably the only player who reached scoring position, or multiple. He only reached it the one time, but was involved in both of their chances to score late. It just, this team, I think, when I talked about Valera striking out again in a critical situation, someone's like, it's the 4th game in a row where they've like had a chance to win it late and said someone struck out. Like they're just,
I mean, again, like we've been talking about for a couple of days now, like they're in every game, like outside of the game in Atlanta on Sunday night, they have had a chance to win every game. Like they had chances to win in the Cardinal series. They had chances to win all 4 games against Baltimore. They had chances to take at least 2 or 3 from Houston. If you want to throw out the Slade Ciccone start where he got battered around, they had chances to win the series, in Toronto too. They were in almost every game, and they were in both these games against the Rays. They had chances to walk it off both nights. They didn't do enough offensively till the end. Like they made life tough on Brian Baker in the 9th inning on Monday, and then they had chances in the 8th and 9th inning. And again, credit to the pitching. Parker Messick, Monday, great. Tanner was fine outside of the walks and the fact
great.
That
I would say great again. He was great.
Yeah, and the Rays drove up his pitch count, a lot of foul balls, just so many foul balls.
Yeah, which still struggling to put guys away. That's probably his biggest.
Yeah, I mean he had 6 strikeouts in 5 innings. Like he averaged a strikeout an inning, but the 3 walks hurt, and then I don't.
Can we stop walking Taylor Walls? Like what the?
Oh my god! I want to get into that a little bit more too, but yeah, how many foul balls do they have against Tanner? I want to look at this.
I think while you're looking that up, but just like again, it's like Bazzana. We all wanted to see the hit. We wanted to see him have that opportunity to win the game and have the story. And
I came very close on that. I said in the 7th inning, I told my wife because we were at the game. I told my wife, I said they're going to walk it off, and he had a chance to do it, and the Rays were smart, and I can't blame them.
And in segment 3 we'll debate the bunt and we'll debate the pinch hit there, but like bottom line, yeah, why would you give Bazzana, who has had good at bats every time, a chance to hit when Cleveland's bench is what it is, and there's the guys that are like, it's like, and I did text you earlier in the game. I'm like, this is kind of a fun lineup. It wasn't performing well, but it's like the top 7 are in a really good situation. Even Rocchio has played well this year, though he hit a little bit of a cold stretch of late. But it's like they've had a lot of guys do some things. It's just they can't put anything together. It just once guys get on base, they're tight. They're playing tight as a team. There's no way around it. They are tightening up and they are playing tight right now, and that's how you end up in these situations where every time you get guys on, it's supposed to be pressure on the pitcher, but instead it's pressure on the hitters because they're just tightening up. They're pressing.
Yeah, and it's hard to know where the end is, where the improvement comes from. All right, we'll talk more about the offense and the lack of the chances they had late and messed up. We'll talk more about the approach the Rays took, the approach the Guardians took. We'll also talk more about the approach, what the Rays have over them. We'll also we'll talk about how the Guardians can overcome this and try to salvage a win in this series. So stick with us. A lot of chaos for the Guardians, not in the workplace because they're not getting runners on base. But if your deadlines are stacking up, if your inbox is overflowing, if you have a position that is sitting open, the pressure is on you. And you need Indeed sponsored jobs. It's going to help you reach people that actually fit your job description. They're going to have the skills, the experience, the location. So you're not just hoping that the right candidate comes across your job posting. And in the minute we've been talking here, 27 hires have been made on Indeed by companies like yours, according to Indeed data worldwide. So you can spend less time searching, less stress, more results, and more time hiring the right person with Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of Locked On Guardians, you're getting a $75 sponsored job credit to help you get the premium job status for your job that it deserves. And Indeed.com/podcast. Go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support the show by saying you heard about it on Locked On Guardians. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs.
ED is way more common than most guys think. Millions of guys will deal with it at some point, and that's exactly why HIMS offers a straightforward way to handle it. HIMS connects you with licensed healthcare providers online, giving you access to legitimate ED treatments options from the comfort of your home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process to make it easier on yourself. Cleveland Guardians, what can I say? Their bats continue to stay limp. They need to be calling HIMS because there is no power. There is no whack. There is just into the outfield or completely swinging and missing out of their shoes. It's not going well for them. They need a lift. They need some help. They should be talking to HIMS. To get simple, online, personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit HIMS.com/LockedOnMLB. That's HIMS.com/LockedOnMLB for your free online visit. HIMS.com/LockedOnMLB. Prescription required. See website for details and important safety information. Sildenafil is a generic version of Viagra. Viagra is a registered trademark of Veritas Specialty LLC. HIMS is not affiliated with or endorsed by Veritas.
Thanks for hanging with us here on Locked On Guardians. As always, again, if you are enjoying the show and you're not in the Everydayer Club, you listen every day, join the Everydayer Club. You get to hang out in the Discord chat with Jeff and I and all the listeners of the show. You also get ad-free episodes of the audio version of the show wherever you get podcasts. So check out the Everydayer Club at LockedOnGuardians.supercast.com. We should shout out some of those Everydayers, Jeff, because I saw a bunch at the game tonight.
I think we'll get them at the end of the show, right? Just to power through.
Sure, we can get them at the end of the show. Yeah, I did meet a bunch of people at the game tonight, so super awesome for all of those who went to the game and found me in the crowd. We chatted, and we were hoping for some runs, and we didn't get any overall. Okay, so here's the thing. I know people are going to be frustrated with this. I don't actually hate the Guardians' approach in this game against Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez is not a strikeout guy, okay? He fills up the zone. He's a strike thrower. He throws a sinker, which is in general, in this day and age, is a very hittable pitch. However, his sinker is fantastic. He also has a good changeup that eats the Guardian. Changeups eat the Guardians alive all the time, right? Yeah. He's got a great one. He throws a lot of cutters. His cutter stinks, but it worked out against the Guardians tonight. But he is a strike thrower. He doesn't walk guys. So I don't mind the approach to try to attack him early. If he's like a first pitch sinker guy, which he generally is, I don't mind that approach, trying to ambush him, because God knows we've seen a lot of hitters do it to the Guardians pitchers over the years. So I don't hate that approach. It didn't work for them. And it allowed Nick Martinez to get really deep. I mean, I think he threw 7 pitches in the first inning. Kwan and DeLauder both swung at the first pitch. Jose took a pitch because the first 2 guys swung, and you don't want to, end the inning on 3 pitches, or even if a runner was on base, you wouldn't. But and then Manzardo swung at the first pitch. So 3 out of the 4 batters in the first inning all swung at the first pitch.
The only reason I don't like it is because you're going against how you typically approach and do things. Like, this is a team that tends to be more patient
zone
to work walks.
Did you know they lead the league in pitches per plate appearance?
Yeah.
By the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard that over the weekend. So it's like their approach is that it's to see a lot of pitches. It's to work the starters. It's to kind of hopefully get into the deeper and weaker part of their pen. But since they didn't do that, they went with a approach that isn't really their approach. I feel like, that kind of come back. No, I don't know what word.
Combat.
It bit him in the backside. That's what I'm going for. It came back and bit them in the backside, and that's why I don't like that approach, because I think you have to stick with what you're used to, and what I can't say what they've had success with, because there hasn't been any success of late. But I think you have to stay true to you, and what you have done that has allowed you at points this year to find success.
Fair. That's fair. I mean, I think, I don't know. If you go through like your hitters meeting before the series starts and you talk about this, it's like hey, let's try to ambush Nick Martinez early, because that might work. Or maybe they saw some other teams do it well. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that was a scouting report. I don't know. But
if it doesn't work, why stick with it? I guess is.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like, okay, the first 2 are like the first time through the order, they got 1 hit out of it, and we got 1 base runner. So like you could say after that, like, okay, it didn't work. We allowed him to get deep in the game with a very low pitch count. So let's reverse course and try something different. I think that can be hard in games sometimes, but I think it's also necessary to do. And it just didn't work overall. So frustrating approach overall there. And let's talk about the 8th and 9th inning. Again, we talked about how Travis Bazzana was the first batter to reach third base in the game after his walk, and then Rhys Hoskins walked, which they pinch hit him for Bo Naylor, which I totally agree with. And then they didn't get it done after that. Nobody was able to come through at that point in the game. And
how many times can they get a runner at third and they can't even hit a fly ball?
One out, right? It was 1 out. All you needed to do was get a fly ball to tie the game.
We had Valera yesterday who couldn't make contact, and then couldn't make contact again today. I mean, he's been as bad as Brito or Naylor. Those are your 3 worst hitters going this year.
And I
don't
mind the walk. I don't mind the bunt. I know you're going to say differently. I don't mind the bunt.
So before I get into the bunt, it just, I guess I'll just dive into it. Here's the thing with the bunt. We know that statistically, every time you bunt to advance runners, it lowers your chance to win a game. Like, statistically, it lowers your chances to win a game when you get,
but you also got to play. I'm fine playing for 1 run.
An out is more valuable than advancing the runners in terms of the game. And the problem I think here is, and the reason I don't like it, is Rocchio has been, like I say, he's scuffing a little more of late, but you're bunting him so you can bring up Stephen Kwan, who's been one of your worst hitters. So Chase DeLauder
got intentionally walked.
I know, but then in Chase DeLauder versus lefties, you're taking the bat out of someone's hand and you're hoping that someone's going to make contact, at least get that. This team hasn't, they either strike out or they get a hit. That's essentially been their thing. So advancing the base runner kind of doesn't matter, because they don't hit, the last sack fly. I can't even tell you the last time they hit a sack fly. There's no point in playing for the sack fly, because it's not going to happen. It's just, I think you let Rocchio hit in that situation, because he's hit well with runners on. He's been one of your best hitters with runners on. Bazzana runs well. If there's a single, he's scoring.
Fair. Fair.
I just think then you're setting up with that bunt to go to Kwan, and hey, they walked him, and then strike out for DeLauder, and then Jose hits it to the wrong part of the park, which it ends up playing out poorly. There's no other way around it. But it's give me the don't give away an out when you're setting up a situation. Like giving up that out, there's a reason why like the other team breathes a sigh of relief when teams do that.
Yeah, I mean the Rays clearly were confident in their game plan. They weren't scared of.
They were very happy with us making that choice.
Yeah, and the choice that Kevin Cash made kind of surprised me, but it worked out because he knew the game. He knew what he knew about his own relievers. I know some people were saying online like, "Oh, that was not a good choice. He just got lucky." And I was like, then again, he trusted his guy, and again, nobody respects the Guardians' offense right now, so they had every reason.
Seymour's a hard matchup for DeLauder with a lefty who's going to have him try to extend.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that. We'll get into Game 3 of this series, up to the 9th inning as well. We'll talk more about Game 3 of the series. You also got to talk about Austin Peterson, who made his return on Tuesday night as well. So still much more to come on the rest of today's Locked On Guardians. Baseball season is here, and you can now trade every game with Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every single game. You can just go over there now and check it out right now for the Guardians in Game 3 of this series. Guardians have a 52% chance to win, according to Kalshi, and you put $100 down on them to win. You can get yourself 182 as of right now. If you want to bet no, if you think the Rays are going to sweep them, you can also come away with $201. So good odds either way on that one. It's pretty split, not really surprised. Spread in total there, 1.5 runs for Tampa Bay, over 6.5 runs scored is also on there. Pretty even matchup overall. And the nice thing about this is you can also trade out of your positions too, because you're trading against your peers, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position even as the game's going on. For a little bit of time, download the Kalshi app. Use code LOCKEDON to get $10 when you trade 10. That's KALSHI. Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. And again, thanks for being here and making Locked On Guardians your first listen today and every day, whatever it is you get podcasts. Please hit the bell on YouTube so you get notified of when we have reaction videos to any game, to any news like Travis Bazzana being called up, to when the episodes go live, and then auto download on all your audio platforms so the show stays in your feed wherever you go. And like if you're like me, you like to listen to podcasts when you're flying. If you auto download those, you can listen to them on the plane on airplane mode. Okay, so yeah, I kind of come around with you there on the bunt. Like, I think you're right. With Travis Bazzana at second base, I'm willing to let Rocchio swing away. And
yeah,
I guess at that point, you're just trying to avoid the double play, which also makes sense to me because Rocchio is very likely to hit a ground ball and easy to double up because he's not a great runner, and you've got Rhys Hoskins. So I guess that was more about avoiding the double play and moving the runners up than it was.
If you got 2 on and no out, and your thought process is how to avoid the double play, then you've already lost. Like that's just a mindset that you've already lost. Like you got to go up. Like Rocchio, I believe, is there. And again, it's a small sample size, and we know this data goes up and down and all around. But like he has been their best hitter of runners in scoring position this year. So let's take the bat out of his hands. Is just something I just strongly don't believe. Like everyone else is pressing, feels like he is not. And I want the guy up there who feels comfortable, not the guys up there who are like, crap, it's going to go wrong again. Oh, no, I popped up again. Oh, I missed. I swung over the top.
That was the ninth inning.
I want the guy who has confidence. I want the guy who has confidence.
Yeah, that's fine. No, I agree there. And then I was kind of aghast when Kevin Cash intentionally walked Kwan to load the bases for Chase DeLauder. I was like, that doesn't – because DeLauder's numbers against lefties are fine. Like, if you go look, he's hitting lefties just fine. There's no platoon splits there. I think Cash just believed in his guy, Ian Seymour, to go after him, and it worked. And that was probably the worst at bat of Chase DeLauder's career. I mean, he fouled a pitch off, he took a strike, and then he struck out. He chased out of the zone. It was the worst at bat of his life of his pro career so far. And unfortunate timing for that. But then I was like, okay, Jose Ramirez bases loaded. Like that was the thing that maybe struck me the most. I was like, you're giving the Guardians 2 chances with the bases loaded for
really bad this year.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
really
unfortunately, the ball Jose hit was the deepest part of the ballpark. If he hits it anywhere else in the ballpark, it's a grand slam, and the Guardians are up 4-1. That is also part of where the Guardians have been offensively right now. Like their approach has not been great, and when they do hit a ball hard, it ends up being an out. Like he hit that ball 381 feet and it's 400 dead center. And maybe on a warmer night, because it was kind of cold, maybe it carries a little bit more. I will say, I think Angel Martinez's ball in the 9th inning, the double, that ball to me would have been a home run if it was a little bit warmer. It was chilly and windy, so the ball didn't have the usual carry. So again, that's just kind of either the Guardians' offense has been bad or they've had luck like that, where Jose flies out to the deepest part of the ballpark, or Angel Martinez doubles, but it didn't carry out of the ballpark because it was, cold and windy than normal. So that just seems to be how the Guardians are going. Like if they didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck offensively. And that's not to say they deserve any luck. Their offense doesn't necessarily deserve it the way they've been swinging it, but it certainly hasn't been going their way in any direction in this one. Schneemann had a hard hit ball. Martinez had a hard hit ball, and credit to Bazzana. He got it to 2-0 in the 9th inning, and Kevin Cash said, you know what, rather than have to force the pitch to Bazzana up in the count 2-0 with Martinez on second base, he said, put him on, and I'd rather face either Austin Hedges or George Valera. And who wouldn't like that matchup? Because again, there are so many. There's no reason to respect the Guardians' offense right now. There's not. It doesn't matter who it is. I mean, there's no reason to respect Kwan. Even Jose right now has hit another cold spell. So it's like there's nobody in this lineup. You have to sit there and say, well, we got to respect this guy. We got to make sure we're careful. Like we certainly don't respect, Hedges or Valera. I know you were saying the other day about sending Valera down when Arias comes back. I almost don't want to wait. Like at this point, you're playing Martinez, you're playing Kwan, and you are probably going to play Schneemann in center. I'd almost say make room for like Stuart Fairchild or even Petey Halpin. Like,
see, here's the thing. It's like I still honestly feel like, and this will get me in so much trouble, Halpin has really struggled in AAA. Like he has really struggled the year before and the year before that. Like I feel like if you go get Fairchild, it's like Halpin's the guy who can probably pass through waivers right now. Like he's like
the numbers are not. Well, he's got a 93 WRC plus in AAA. It's not great.
In the Ultimate Hitters Park, in the Ultimate Hitters League, a 93 is. I know it's but
Fairchild probably fits what you want to do a little more right now.
He does, but it's like who are you cutting?
I don't know. I mean, because the thing is, you bring up Fairchild, he doesn't need to play every day.
No,
and he's a good runner. He can play any outfield position defensively, so you can use him as a very like Swiss Army knife there. He makes contact. He's not a guy who strikes out a lot, at least too much. So he might be a better bench option than George Valera.
100% would be.
Yeah. I think that's, I don't know. Like go let Valera go down and get him some confidence back or do whatever. Like,
by the way, you're talking about Jose scuffling in the last week. Jose has a 457 OPS.
Again, there's really nobody in the offense on this.
Schneemann and Martinez are along with Fry and Hedges. And that's the thing that's going to drive me nuts too. It's like, I get it that Hedges has had his ups and downs. But like, I don't even see a point in pitch hitting Hedges for Valera. Just let Hedges swing away. Like Valera has been so poor in his at-bats. And at
the very least, Hedges could have drawn a walk because I think Hedges has been doing a good job working counts. I mean, I as soon as, I hate to say this, I hate to sound like a negative Ned here, but my wife hated me for it. But as soon as they pinch hit Valera, I said, he's striking out.
We knew he was going to strike out because a year ago when he came up, what made him effective was he's always going to strike out. He's always had a swing that feels like there's a hole in it, but he didn't chase and he walked. He's not right now. He is chasing like crazy. Like he is just pressing. And part of that is because he doesn't have regular playing time and he's trying to show up so he can get that playing time. But with Martinez and Schneemann being hot, he's buried. And then you bring him off the bench and he's going to swing at anything that you could roll the ball up to the plate and he's going to swing at it. So I agree. I don't know who is the guy you take off the 40 man
now it's full at 40 with Bazzana.
It is. It's like, and that's what I said. I think it's almost like I said, it's going to be in trouble. I think it's Halpin is the guy who I personally, I would take off because if you can't have a 100 WRC plus in Columbus, it's not happening for you. Like that's just,
I do think he would get claimed. I honestly do, but
he might for his defense, but like, I don't know who else you're taking off unless because
I mean, hey, even Brogdon was okay tonight, except for.
I mean, I guess unless you're ready to cut bait with Cody Hewer without ever seeing him play, because he's probably the other guy you consider.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do that bullpen depth wise. Like, Holderman is your shuttle guy, and there's still Alaman, but yeah, I don't know if I'm ready. I'm ready to axe that depth, like, and risk that. I mean, I think both would get claimed. Teams need relief options, and there's a reason they added Hewer to the roster. So, I think both would get claimed. You just have to. Take a risk,
Doug Ninkasi got claimed. Whoever you cut is likely getting claimed. Woo! Like that's just Ninkasi's been claimed twice. He got cut and claimed by the Cubs. Like
hey, anyone, Chicago though, good for him.
Yeah, anyone they cut at this point on this roster because it is so tight and it is such a situation. Like eventually. The nice thing is Espino's already on.
They have not had roster fodder. Like I can't remember the last time they didn't have roster fodder like this.
It's like Espino, they'll get roster fodder when Walters is ready, because when Walters gets added, it's going to have to come at the expense of Festa or Brogdon. It's going to have to be one of those two guys, likely, unless Armstrong isn't back by then.
Walters is not on the 60, so they don't have. He's already on the 40.
No, that's what I'm saying. But you're going to have to put him on when he gets called up.
Oh, you're probably going to send Holderman down because he has options.
Well, I'm saying if Armstrong's back by that point, then you got to cut one of those two guys because they don't. Neither of them have any option. Well, yeah, neither of them, I believe. Yeah, Festa and Brogdon don't have options. So eventually, one of those guys becomes roster fodder, or both of them potentially, depending on how things go this year. So that's your other pathway, but you're not going to cut one of them now for a hitter. I don't know what the answer is. There's been a degree of bad luck, but there's also a degree of just them not having expected batting average of 161. Like we can sit there and talk about luck.
This is not one of those nights.
No, this was a game where they were crap. Like there's no way around it. Maybe I should mince words or say Tanner was fantastic. Bazzana had a solid debut. The bullpen was great. It was probably Kwan's best game in about a month. But
oh my God, yeah. The pitching deserved to win. The offense didn't.
Martinez continues to do nice things every game. Schneemann continues to have a moment every game. Like there are positives. I don't want, someone to be like, there's nothing here. But you got to stop walking Taylor Walls, who couldn't hit his way out of a brown paper bag and has 4 walks in 2 games and scored the only run in this game because you're walking one of the worst hitters in baseball. Like that is one of the most frustrating things. Just throw it this. He's not going to hit a home run. He doesn't have that power. Like worst case scenario.
Games.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
He has 2 for his last 27 coming in this series, and now they've walked him 4 times in 2 games. Groove him a pitch. If you're going to groove someone a pitch, groove Taylor Walls. He's an excellent defender. He is a fantastic defender, but he is probably going to hit the ball about 280 to 300 feet, even if you groove it to him, especially on a cold night. Just let him beat. That's the guy. Yeah, challenge him. Let him beat you because he's not going to. That's the frustrating thing. But honestly, they haven't been good enough. They got to put things together. They got to kind of stop pressing, and they just have to start stringing a few hits together. And it can't be the minute guys get on base, everyone freaks out. I'm tired of this looking like, oh no, guys are on base, and then everyone can't hit. Like that is the problem. They are just so tight right now. The minute anyone gets on base, they know they're struggling. So then the struggle gets worse.
It's a lot of pressing. Before we get out of here, Austin
Shout
Peterson. Oh yeah, shout out. Also, Austin Peterson back. 3 innings, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hits. I'm quickly going to also go to the game feed and see how he fared velocity wise, just because I'm curious. But while I'm doing that, I'll get the shout out. So ran into multiple people at the game on Tuesday night. Stephen K had a good long chat with Stephen K about some of his favorite baseball memories, and I know he's a loyal listener. Appreciate you. Brad was walking by chatting with us. Linda, we talked at the end of the game. Eric as well, and then our pal Cheeks Malone, everyday Cheeks Malone. Yes,
Eddie Jeffrey is good. We know that, right?
Yes, Eddie Jeff is good. So we did have a nice little chat there, and got to go to the game. And
I've got Peterson's box score if you want it.
It looks like he was
solid.
93, 94. Yeah, that's good.
3 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. A nice performance.
He got
Cody Hewer picked up the save, who we talked about earlier in the game. So
glad to have Peterson back. Give him a couple starts, and he'll at least be a depth option, which is good. I don't know. I know someone was like,
beat Connor Pilkington tonight, so old friend
full circle. Yeah, look at that. All right. Well, on Wednesday, the matinee, the Guardians have Drew Rasmussen And Gavin Williams, it's not going to be an easy game because Drew Rasmussen is the kind of pitcher that usually kicks their butt. I hope Gavin's better than he was last Friday because he pitched to the scoreboard when the Guardians offense. The last time the Guardians offense felt like they did anything was they ambushed the hell out of Max Scherzer, and they've been lost ever since. Like, that was a great game. I don't know what they have to do to recreate that. I know
Rasmussen Savant Page is a crud ton of red. That is a rough matchup.
I don't have high hopes. I don't. But hey, baseball's weird, and I want 2 Cleveland wins today on Wednesday. We need a daytime win. We need a nighttime win from the Cavs. So hope everything comes up Cleveland on Wednesday, especially going into an off day before this team goes to Sacramento. My God, I think you want that win because, like, I'm hoping that Rasmussen just has a dud of a start and we get like a 7-run game. I don't know.
Yeah, they need a game like that.
They need a slump buster. Get them a slump buster.
They need a lot of things right now. But what we need is, a big thank you to all of you. We are less than 100 subscribers away from our next. Is that 6,000 or is it 5,000? I can't think of that. 6,000, right? So, keep pushing those numbers up. We appreciate all the support. Thank you to any new Australians who are joining us. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. And as always, go Guardians, go.